And ladies and gentlemen, we're live here with Chaos Live. Myself, Lee Craft, aka the Monday Morning Racer, and David Rattan, the voice of the Chaos. Good to see each and every one of you tonight. This show presented by Wulff Pumps, and it's also going to be an interesting show, David.
Yes, it is. I've been looking forward to this one. You know, we thought we'd already done our last one for 2022, but this bonus edition of Chaos Live is really going to be good, as we are looking forward to the crew and teams training, crew and tuning seminar that's going to be coming up here in just about 3 weeks, as the man Will Hanna is going to be presenting that seminar there, and a lot of people have already signed up for it. And, you know, just another one of those steps that your best teams take is that ongoing education. And man, we're going to be getting some great education from one of the best in the business. And we're going to be talking about that here on Chaos Live tonight.
It's certainly going to be good. We'll be taking your questions. I'm sure he's going to give an overview of what to expect. If you have not signed up, you need to do so. Just look through the Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos channels, and you'll be able to find that information. David, what do you think we'll learn tonight in particular, even beyond what we can expect at the seminar?
Well, Will is a very good communicator. He has got a lot of background, a lot of experience, not only in racing, not only in tuning, but in racing communications. I mean, he has done quite a bit of what you and I are doing now over the years. And so I'm anticipating, I really want to hear a lot more about Will Hanna. You know, you see the man, you know, right now you see the man behind the Pencher Mustang Funny Car when we are at a Funny Car Chaos event. But, you know, some of that inside scoop, a lot of Will's websites and his communications are inside Top Alcohol, inside Fast Brackets, that type thing. So, you know, what's on the inside, that's always been one of the hot buttons, one of the draws for those of us in drag racing, is a little bit of that inside baseball, that inside scoop that comes from nowhere besides the pits, and nowhere better than someone who is neck deep in making it happen on the racetrack and in the racing world. So I'm anticipating some good questions coming from the audience. Some of them that are experienced tuners, and probably a good number of questions coming from the audience members that maybe are on the fence as to whether they should attend this seminar or not. And I certainly hope that they get their questions answered in the affirmative this weekend, so that they can absolutely be there. There's simply nothing like being there at a seminar. I mean, you can watch it on Zoom. You can take the class, you can take the correspondence course, but I can assure you there will be nothing to compare to being there at the Champions Club at Texas Motorplex for this, seminar that's coming up. Just a day or two more than 3 weeks away. It should be a good one.
I agree, David. I've took online courses through my higher education, and yeah, they get the job done, but there's always something about being in the lab or being in the class and getting that information that way. You can do that at this seminar from one of the best, especially in the alcohol ranks. David, before we get Mr. Hanna on, because we've got him in the green room, he's ready to go. It has been interesting out there in Chaos Nation of the news that we've been getting. We've seen Chris Graves on Facebook and Instagram post some spy shots from some teams, and we've even have had announcements that there are people definitely already planning to show up to Bakersfield and compete in that inaugural event for Chaos out there all the way on the West Coast.
Yeah, this is, in some regards, the off season. It can be called the silly season, where changes are being made. There's nothing silly about the announcements that we've been seeing. It's all serious business. And each time that we find someone else, stepping up and saying, yeah, you can look for me there, that just reinforces the decision to make that West Coast pool or the East Coast pool or the various locations that we're going and expanding the series. I I was seeing your interview from PRI with Dean Dubbin and our champion in Nitro Chaos, Gary Wheeler, and just the response that has come about after this 2023 season. It's just been a cut above as the word is spreading. The experience is being had by most. Again, you can watch it on the live stream or you can be there in person, and they're both great. But there is simply nothing that replaces being there in person and getting that experience, right there when it hits you in the heart. And so the news continues to come out, and we'll be chronicling that on Chaos Live episodes, coming up. But it's shaping up to be what we expected it to be, maybe even more than we expected it to be. With folks saying, "All right, count me in for 2024." Can't wait. It's going to be good.
It certainly is. So we'll get Mr. Hanna on here in just a few moments and chat with him. And, we'll see how it goes, Will. He just said that his computer is struggling. Don't worry. We struggle all the time. I don't know. It seems to come Wednesday night and everything goes haywire, even though on Tuesday night and Thursday night it worked fine. I don't know how, but it does seem to work that way. But we're going to get through it because live is good and live is wild. So, Will, Hanna, in just a few moments, want to remind you all the Funny Car Chaos Classic, also featuring Nitro Chaos. Those tickets are on sale. They're even on sale now. You can go ahead and purchase your tickets. For everyone that always loves to ask, hey, what is the schedule? Well, it has been posted again. Funny Car Chaos schedule is right there. Also, the Nitro Chaos schedule has been posted as well, and you can find those at funnycarchaos.com or nitrochaos.com also for all your questions concerning the schedule. And then we also have the awards banquet. I cannot wait from the stories that we'll get that cannot be told, David, from that event. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Well, we will transition now, and we'll get Mr. Will Hanna here on Chaos Live. And is it his first appearance on Chaos Live, David, or have we had Will before? I can't remember.
You know what? They're kind of running together, and we've talked to him after the races. And I'd be telling the story right now if I said, yeah, we've had him on before, because I've interviewed him so many times. But I'm not sure. This may be his first Chaos Live experience. I don't know.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to wait a little while longer because he just dropped out of the green room. He said his computer was struggling, so we'll give him just a few more moments.
Hey, one thing I wanted to do is some of that news that we get in the off season has to do with how people are doing, and I certainly have. I want to send a shout out to Galen Reinhardt out in Hereford, Texas, as she's been experiencing a little rough health go, and some of us know a little something about that because we've, it seems like right after Christmas, actually right before Christmas for me, some of that old man COVID came and showed up and reared its ugly head with some of the folks in our racing community, including myself and my wife. But we're doing better now. And certainly want to send a shout out there to West Texas to Galen and Dwayne. And we're wishing you the best for a recovery. And for anybody that I'm not aware of, man, we're thinking of you all the time. And we're just really itching to see you at the seminar or to see you at the banquet. And, of course, when it gets time for racing season to start, we will definitely look forward to pressing the flesh and extending some hugs. And we will really be anticipating that coming up. So, you know what? Chaos Live here in 2023 has been so much fun, and we are just knocking on that door to the brand new year. And when it kicks off, 2024, it keeps getting bigger and better and more fun with more people to have fun with. And one of those guys that's making it happen is our guest tonight. So, have we got Will back? Are we just about ready to go?
We are not ready to go. He is not back at the moment, so we are still waiting for him to pop into the green room. are waiting word from him through other channels. Matter of fact, I got a message here. Maybe that's him. Let me check in, David, and see.
Okay.
Yes. He and I quote, "I don't know why my laptop is allergic to your show restarting." So, Will Hanna, you get your computer restarted. I actually had this little issue with him when I had him on my show, Between the Slicks. So it must not be something he's got an issue with anywhere else. But if I'm hosting it and it's through StreamYard and I'm connected in some way, it must be an issue. But we're going to have him. He'll be on before long. Plenty to talk about in Chaos Nation. You know, we mentioned the schedules. We got 2 great schedules coming up for Nitro Chaos and for Funny Car Chaos. We've got the banquet tickets are already on sale, and there's plenty of content being uploaded regularly by Mr. Graves and Mrs. Graves there on the Facebook and YouTube and the Instagram side as well. So there is plenty to talk about. I do know that it is good to see that Mr. Buchanan no longer has the gray ghost. It is looking as it should with that new carbon fiber Vega body.
Yeah, they have once again done an awesome job of recreating the ombre from 1972, and this one looks even better than the one that they ran for several years. And of course, you know, Mike Buchanan with the breakthrough season, he didn't just break through with 1 win; he got 3 Funny Car Chaos wins, and they have come back with this carbon fiber body, taking off the weight and upping the speed and dropping the elapsed times. And now, not only is it going to be running even better, but it's going to continue to be looking great as the paint scheme on this ombre car has come together very, very nicely. So when we get a chance to see them at the season opener at the Chaos Classic at the Texas Motorplex, you're going to get a chance to see the bright colors waving off the Buchanan ombre funny car, and we'll look forward to seeing the great performances as they continue to step it up. You know, Spy Shot there letting everybody know that they've got it looking good and ready to go for the 2024 season.
That they do, and well, this one blew the internet up. Wayne Hoffman coming out this year with a different look. He's done that the past seasons now, and wow, this one just, it catches the hearts. Maybe even a few tears were shed seeing this, bringing back memories of dear old dad, Al Hoffman, and the Western Auto Machine that he piloted. That thing looks sexy.
It is. That's, that Firebird, that Western Auto Machine that it looks so much, like the one that was run back in the day. And when we saw that the F body on the Spy Shot before the paint was applied, those of us with memories long enough to remember the Western Auto, that red, white, and black, we were hoping that was what was coming. And Wayne, they did not disappoint. And now that we've seen the Spy Shots as to what it's going to look like when it takes the track, really anticipating the performance to match the that outer package, because man, is it looking sharp.
It does certainly look sharp. I think the man that now has a sharp connection is Mr. Will Hanna, and we've got him in the green room. He is ready to go, and we'll talk about this CATS seminar that is coming up at the Texas Motorplex right after this word from one of our sponsors.
Wulff Motorsports Insurance offers drag racers the broadest insurance policies in the industry. Wulff Motorsports Insurance was created by racers for racers. Wulff insures race cars on and off the track, trailers and equipment. Wulff even pays racers contingencies at the fling bracket races. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Wulff Motorsports Insurance today.
Mr. Will Hanna, welcome to Chaos Live. Good to have you on, and we're excited to talk about what we will be chatting upon.
Yeah, sorry for everybody being just a little bit late tonight. Got on there, and I don't like the last time I was on your show. I just felt the laptop nosing over really hard and had to step off of it and do a restart, and we're good to go now. So I was born 7 days late, hadn't caught up since, so it's just nothing new for me.
Man, good to see you and glad to have you here on Chaos Live. You know, this off season has been no picnic for a lot of people as you getting ready for the seminar. Everybody's getting their cars ready, and of course, we get a chance to see those spy shots of what's coming. But with this seminar that you've put together, the crew seminar that's coming up at the Texas Motorplex, you've got a lot of folks that have already said, yeah, count me in. And we're anticipating a big group coming out to hear what you've got to say.
Yeah, that's the group's been growing, and drag racers never wait till the last minute or nothing. But no, we got a good group of racers going, and I think it's going to be a good time. Hopefully, everybody be able to learn something and take away something. Basically, the way I've kind of structured the stuff that we're going to go over is kind of break things down from, you know, the bare bones, unpack it, and kind of build it up to more advanced type of concepts. So it's something there a little bit for everybody, and hopefully everybody can take away for something, whether they're on the newer side of things or they're experienced racer. I think something's definitely going to be there for everything. And I wish, you know, 10, 15 years ago, I would have had something like this to kind of, you know, help me look at things a little bit different. You know, one of the things I've been blessed over the years is work for a lot of different race teams and see a lot of different points of view and learn from some really smart racers, and kind of help get me there where I am today. And hopefully this CAT seminar help pass that along and help some racers gain some valuable experience.
Well, no doubt that it will. We have, when you go to the drags, you can see folks with just a dozen people on their crew, and you can see folks running a little bit like you and Keith run with a very small crew. And is it kind of an inverse relationship to the more experience you have, the less people you need, or does it help that sometimes when you have a lot of experience, you have more things to do that you can assign things to? You know, coming up as you did, and you said, of course, this is something that you would wish that had been available at that time. Some of the racers looking for that extra level of professionalism, they're going to get that in spades. Now, here at the seminar, you talked a lot about the tuning of the fuel system. That's one of the things you're going to be covering, right?
Absolutely. We're going to be going over the fuel system, and it's going to be mechanical blown fuel systems. So it'll apply to not only blown alcohol, nitro. Got a lot of questions, you know, are this just going to be screw blower? It's not. I'm not going to come in and say, okay, here's the fuel system for Keith Zimmerer's car. This is how he run it, or, you know, I'm going to explain, you know, like I said, we're going to start off, we're going to unpack it. We're going to look at all the components, talk about how they all work together, and then how you put a tune-up, you know, together for your combination, and how you adjust that fuel system to conditions, track conditions, tuning, not only just rich or lean or getting the thing dialed in, but how to use it towards your tune-up of, you know, how to, you know, your lean outs, when to richen it, when to lean it, you know, how to make different adjustments. So again, we're going to go from basics all the way up to the, you know, to more advanced stages. And, you know, fuel systems, one of the things I tell people, you don't know what you don't know until you know. I mean, I won a lot of races, and I've learned a lot of stuff about the fuel system since then. And like, I look back like, man, you know, I guess I just was kind of winging it. But so I don't want to assume somebody knows something. And I mean, as a, you know, somebody, we should all be trying to learn, you know. So whether you've won world championships or won a lot of races, you know, being able to just, I would love to hear somebody else, another, you know, tuner, give the same deal, just so I could see their point of view and maybe try to take away something that maybe I'm not doing or maybe I'm not looking at. So so that's the kind of stuff for maybe an advanced racer, somebody that's been doing it a while, or tuning, or for somebody that's maybe coming in, working on the car, or just got started and, you know, knows the basics, but we're going to break this thing down, and then we're not only going to tell them how it works, we're going to connect it all and show how the basics are essential or work together with the tune-up. So, I mean, you know, and it's not just getting the plugs to fuzz, it's, you know, how to manage a fuel system and, you know, make your car faster on the track and, you know, hopefully prevent parts damage and more consistent. So, yeah, fuel system, we're going to talk, you know, not only blown alcohol, we're going to go over some nitro components, kind of just cover a lot of bases. But I think what I have planned in that regard in a lot of different areas, again, we're going to start off at the bare bones, bring it up to speed, try to get everybody up to speed. And then there's going to be, you know, that's the benefit of being in person, is there's going to be a question and answer session at the in between different topics.
And speaking of question and answer session, for those who are watching on CHAOS Live here tonight, if you have a question that you would like to ask Will, go ahead and put it in the chat, and we'll make sure that we relay the questions to Will as the program goes on here tonight. As that's one of the benefits that we've got here is Will's here. There's not another guest. That's what we've got going on tonight. So if you have a question, just put it in the chat. Huh?
That's the good and the bad news. There's not another guest.
Okay, yeah. You know, one of the things about operating a race car like this is you are really on stage, and there's an opportunity to look really good. There's an opportunity to look really bad. And one thing that drag racers have never been accused of is being afraid to make a mistake most of the time, because you see a lot of folks come out and they know that they've got a lot of eyes on them, that they have somebody in the other lane, that they have people behind them that are waiting to run, and they don't want to come up and run through somebody's oil. And so the level of preparation that goes in to making these cars go down the racetrack, it's by necessity got to be pretty high, because of all the expectations being placed on these racers by the crowd, by their fellow competitors, and by the sanction, and by the track officials. So you're going to give these folks the opportunity to exercise the rule that there are no dumb questions. You've really got to say, okay, if I don't understand this, here's what I need to know. And I think because you're bringing this in such a way that you're probably going to answer some questions before people have to say, well, I don't know the answer, so I'm going to ask you a question. That kind of takes away some of that tension, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the only stupid question is the one that's not asked. And, you know, this type of racing is so specialized that sometimes having a mechanical background can in some ways hurt you, because there's specific ways that we do certain things on these cars that may not be the normal thing that a mechanic would do, or something that you did on your bracket car. I mean, there's a reason why, you know, the nitro, the big show teams in Brownsburg, they like to get people, you know, fresh out of school, fresh out of high school, and teach them their way from ground zero, instead of, you know, picking up somebody that maybe was a mechanic for 10 years, that's really good mechanical person, but maybe has too much stuff already learned or in their head, and would have to relearn some things that are specific to it, or they got enough experience they don't feel like they need to ask questions, and that's where sometimes mistakes are made.
First
the other thing I'd like to before we get to that, the other thing I want to be able to go over is not only talk about asking a question as I've made a ton of mistakes over the years. I've seen a lot of mistakes, and some of the common mistakes that I've seen made, and it will be incorporated through each stage of the each topic that we go over, and try to help go over some things and try to, at least my opinion of what mistakes are, or stuff that's definitely shown that it was a mistake by, or something that new racers usually make.
Yeah, there's people that make mistakes, and there's people that lie about it, and but we've all made them, and so getting a chance to benefit from somebody's experience, that there's great value in that. Anthony Whitfield has got a question. Is a track meter worth the money to be able to put a number to track grip?
I like using it, but I use it. So I'm the person on it. So if you're going to use a track meter, you got to have one person that is that's their job. The spin and twist type of track meters, like what most of us have used for the last few years. It can be kind of relative to how they're standing on it, how you pull it, and so I try to get out there and pull it before a run, and then that gives me a reference number. But sorry, there got an itch going. But you gotta it's a reference number, and it gives you something. But if you don't have somebody dedicated that can not only be the person to go do it, but doesn't have, I mean, that's got to be their staging lane job. Because if you're so many tune-up decisions on a lot of cars with the electronic ignition, power grids, command module, digital timing curves, 6-shooters, and all that. A lot of tune-up decisions are made in the staging lanes. So you got to have somebody that doesn't have a job on the car that's able to go out there, pull a track, and get a number and shoot the track temperature and kind of either be the person making the decision on the timing and the tune-up, or relay that information to the crew chief. In a perfect world, I had a couple teams like this where I had one dedicated person that was their job, and we were on a radio. So not only were they out there, before the run, but they could actually radio back to the staging lanes, tell me what the track was pulling to the temperature, and I was able to kind of factor that into a last-minute tune-up call. But if you don't have the luxury of having somebody that's their job, or having the time to be able to go out there and pull it, it starts to kind of lose some value as far as what it can do for you. Track temperature and rubber condition, still are big factor, and the track meter just kind of helps you quantify that.
All right. Very good. Thank you for that question, Anthony Whitfield, Mighty Mouse. And I can see what you're saying there. If it takes away from your team to have somebody going out there to do it, it could certainly be detrimental to have somebody taken away from your normal procedure. That's one of the things that I'm seeing on the event publicity is everybody needs a procedure that can be repeated race after race, qualifying run after qualifying run after elimination round. That repetition to the point of perfection, not only in the tune-up but in the procedure, so that everybody knows what to do and nothing gets left out. I would think that you may be talking about some of those things at the seminar as well. Yeah,
like you talk about, you got to have a core group, and with Keith Zimmerer, so that's kind of what we focus on. We have, of course, him and his dad, his mom, and myself and Ricky Howell. We're the ones that go to every race, and so we try to base the core responsibilities around that. And if we do happen to have somebody that can go, or volunteers to go, or somebody local, we certainly appreciate the help and whatnot. But we base our procedure around that. Our tune-up and the car is designed to be low maintenance as possible. That's kind of you alluded to your question earlier about us using not as many people. If we were revving the motor up higher and running a little bit harder, then that starts necessitating the need for more crew members and whatnot. So of course we don't have a clutch either, so that takes away a lot of the maintenance in between runs there. But getting back to the procedures and whatnot, and not only back in the pit, but your staging lane, starting line, and whatnot. Jay Payne told me something a few years ago, and there's a lot of drivers in the CHAOS series, or that may be at the CAT seminar, that are not only drivers, but they also tune their car. And basically what he said he had to learn was, when he got into the staging lanes, he basically handed his wife, Shelly, his notes on the jets, or what they're going to do on the tune-up. And once he's in the staging lanes, he's no longer the tuner. He just starts focusing on driving. and let somebody else make those last minute calls and make those last minute adjustments. So that's the type of stuff we'll talk about, and I got to be careful not to jump the shark and give a hour-long preview of what we go over. But yeah, you're dead on. You got to have a consistent routine, and it's easier said than done. I mean, getting consistent good crew help is a big challenge for a lot of teams. I mean, we're very blessed. Keith has family members that are able to go and invested in doing so. We got, he has myself and Ricky Howell, but I know the struggle's real out there trying to, especially when you're trying to get everybody volunteer to, get people to take time out of their schedule and go racing and, have the skill set to be able to contribute.
Very much so. Chris Perkins has a question. Do you like adding more fuel or power to turn the tires?
Yes. I mean, one thing I don't want to get too deep in depth and give away, some of the stuff we're going over, but I definitely like to bring the power to the tire and the track. I don't like to crutch the car or crutch the tire. So I like to, kind of get aggressive and bring it to it and see what I can do. So yeah, I definitely like getting after it, snapping it up on the tire and going.
All right. Thank you for that question, Chris. We take a lot of joy and take a little pride in the fact that the CHAOS races to this point have pretty well been bang, right on schedule, and something that is very friendly to the spectator, that you can come in, that when we say they're going to run, they run. There's not a whole lot of cleanup to take place. And all of that is a salute to the crews that run in Funny Car CHAOS and Nitro CHAOS. And of course, many of them have run other things for a long time, but we have new Funny Car teams as well that have stepped up and stepped right into that pattern of being someone that gets things done on time, have their car well prepared and well serviced and well tuned to make sure that the show goes on and we deliver that value that CHAOS has become noted for. And so there's nobody saying that this seminar is because we really need this. However, there's great value in always being over prepared. You never know what's going to come up. I know at the races, Will, that you've encountered new things just about all the time.
And one of the things to kind of touch base on that is I have on all of my race teams, I have a checklist either on the starter or on the dragster. It's on the back of the roll cage, and I've been doing this for a long time. But it's when everything's normal and going according to plan, and you got time to do it. It's easy. You don't really need those reminders. It's when something happens and you're thrashing, and you get up there and you're running around, you're scrambling, and you're like, then that's when I need to look down much. Oh, we got to turn the air bottle on. That's when those things bite you. And of course, I'm getting older now, so it may be a little senility. I can't even say it. Be a little senile kicking in, but yeah, things like checklists are big. And I come up with the itinerary of this, and they say if you really want to learn something, teach it. And I look at some of the things I tell myself. I'm telling people they need checklists. I'm like, you know what? We probably ought to put a checklist in for that too. So I mean, I'm trying to learn to teach myself a little bit too. But yeah, checklists are big. They just help eliminate mistakes, redundancy. A lot of what we're going to do, not only, we've been talking about the crew side of things procedurally, but I mean, tuning and racing, you got to be, it's all about problem solving. I mean, you break it down, it comes down to problem solving. Good tuners are elite problem solvers. They just know what they're working with and how to use it. And, we're going to talk about problem solving. We're going to talk about, scientific method of, kind of breaking things down and, figuring out why things are happening and how to fix them rather than just, throwing something at the wall and see if it sticks.
Do you find that there are certain personalities that work better for tuning versus driving, and sometimes they can't cross over. In the racers, I think there's a lot of engineering types, numbers types that seem to find themselves tuning race cars, sometimes driving, but seems like a lot of times your numbers guys are the tuners.
Yeah, I think, I come from a business background. I got a business degree. I don't have an engineering degree, and I think my earlier days of tuning that helped me. I used to call myself a bottom line tuner. I didn't get hung up in the why as much, and I still try to apply that. I still, sometimes you can't explain why something is happening, but the race car is saying, I don't want that. And so you're okay. We're not going to give you that. We'll figure out why later. I mean, sometimes you kind of got to make those decisions, but, really resonated with me, when I kind of had that train of thought, and I kept on, hearing, Warren Johnson say over and over again, you got to understand the why. And so you can't get hung up on the why, if the race car's telling you something, but still you need to try to work through things and understand why something is happening. And, the other thing is, a big thing we talk about, problem solving is Occam's razor is huge in racing and life, and it almost always proves true that Occam's razor is the saying that the simplest explanation is usually the correct one, and I kind of follow that up when racers start getting in. We all kind of start getting into conspiracy theories of why something's happening, why something broke, why something blew up, and so the shooter's never from the grassy knoll. It's always it's always right there in front of you. You just got to sometimes figure it out and admit where something went wrong.
Yeah, very good point. So you are across multiple types of racing. It's not just fuel altereds, it's not just funny cars, it's not just top alcohol dragsters. This experience that you're going to be relaying at this seminar comes from your experience in all different types of racing. Tell for those that don't know, tell us about your racing background, going back to when you first got started.
Well, kind of full circle. My dad ran Pro Comp, and I grew up around racing with Zimmerer, top alcohol, Division 4 back in the day. That's where I know a lot of the veterans from Funny Car Chaos, like Terry Darby and them were, all Ronnie Young were out there getting it done back in the 80s. But as I kind of came up, started off, did a little bit of junior drag racing, and came up bracket racing, and so you got to be consistent. You got to do the same thing over and over again to be a good bracket racer. So kind of had that skill set. Worked with some top dragsters, which is blown alcohol bracket racing. So that skill set. I learned a lot from Steve Harker when I worked on his alcohol funny car and helped him with that car, and he's one of the most consistent racers I've ever been around, and he taught me how to really make a car consistent. So, and you learn things in running a top dragster when you're going out there and you're trying to run a dial in and leave the car alone, run after run after run, versus when you're running a heads up race, you're always tinkering on something and trying to get a little bit faster, a little bit better every run, or at least I am. And so you kind of see things that what affects a car, what doesn't affect the car, things that you think were making a change don't make a change. So, just been blessed to work with a lot of different backgrounds, disciplines between the bracket racing. I've done some no prep racing, some no prep king guys, helped them tune on some of them, back roads, street shootout deals they do. So, I mean, it's interesting to see, different track conditions and, 170, 68 degrees in Albuquerque all the way to, killer tracks like Motorplex. So just been blessed to have a lot of different backgrounds and experience, and that's the kind of stuff I'm going to try to share with everybody at the CAT seminar.
Very good, very good. All right, we are on Chaos Live, race fans, and we're heading into a break. Right after that, we've got a few more questions that have been sent in. And again, we've got Will Hanna here. He's taking questions tonight. So if you have a question, you can put those into the chat, and we will be right back with some more questions and answers as we continue Chaos Live right after this word from our sponsors.
Taylor Motorsports Products is your first stop for quality safety equipment for your car or your driver. All of our safety equipment products are made in our facility in Albany, Oregon. From custom fit fire suits to racing seat belts, supercharger restraints, engine diapers, transmission blankets, and many other must-have items. Our racing history runs deep. We are racers building the finest safety equipment for racers. And we're a proud supporter of the CHAOS.
All right, we are back, and we are talking with Will Hanna tonight on CHAOS Live and taking questions live from the audience. So if you have some questions, be sure and put them in the chat, and we will relay those to Will Hanna. And we've got a question from our Nitro CHAOS champion, Gary Wheeler. What all do you take into consideration on determining the square area of the engine? Square area of fuel nozzles of the engine, for clarification.
Yeah, you kind of got to break that down into two things: going through the fuel going through the blower and the fuel going to the engine and down in the ports or down nozzles, depending on the application. You kind of limited to how much adjustments you can make. Your fuel going through your blower is going to be more attached to how fast you're turning the blower. Because that fuel in a roots blower or a screw blower is more acting as lubrication than it is. You don't have a whole lot of control of where that fuel goes after it goes to the supercharger. So your fuel up top is going to be kind of dictated by your blower speed. You really can't make a whole lot of adjustments for the air on that. Whereas down in your ports or your down nozzles, the fuel going into the engine, that's the nozzle area. You make your adjustments on as far as the air gets good, the air gets better or worse. Different things you may be trying to do with the engine there, but your engine tuning, your cylinder tuning. Compensations, big air, weather swings and whatnot are going to be down in the ports. And it really doesn't, or at least I don't change too much up top for the weather. It's more going to be associated with blower speed.
All right. Thank you for that. And Bill Naves with a question. Curious, what is the most common mistake you see in fuel systems overall?
Probably, I'm gonna split that. They're two equal mistakes. One is kind of a rookie mistake. I was guilty of it. You get a lean cylinder. You got a hole that you want to clean up a little bit. And a new racer, myself, I'm guilty of this back in the day. You don't realize that that one cylinder is a piece of the pie. You're not trying to make the pie bigger. You're just trying to give that cylinder a bigger piece of that same size pie. So a lot of racers will make the mistake of, okay, we're going to richen number 6 because it looks a little hot. And that's all they do is they richen number 6. Well, you have to go in and find if you're going to richen a cylinder because it's lean, you need to find the leanest cylinder and richen it up, or excuse me, if you need to find the richest cylinder and lean it to where your nozzle area in the ports is the same. So you're keeping the size of your pie the same. You're giving some more that pie to number 6 and you're taking that away from number 1. If not, if you just keep on richening the fuel system, richening number 6, well, you keep on just richening that lean hole over time, your fuel system nozzle area just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And pretty soon your tune-up's out the window because your nozzle area is way too big. And so that's a common mistake I see, and that's one that I made. Another common mistake is not taking care of your jets. I mean, you see bypass pills, the one that goes in the barrel valve. You see them getting thrown around the toolbox. Again, this is a mistake I made early on. That's like that's the mission control for your fuel system of what it's going to do. And it doesn't take much. When we're talking about brass pills, a screwdriver, a wrench, something bumps into it, gets slammed around, throws in the, whatever going wrong. And that's, again, that's mission control for your whole fuel system. So those things, those jets need to be taken care of, and they need to be, flowed, precision instruments, not something thrown in the toolbox. So I've made both those mistakes. I can own up to them in early days, and that's two biggest fuel systems mistakes I see people make. Besides not getting their fuel system flowed, that's probably number one. I should have done that, but
again, the benefit of years of experience is something that everybody that's coming to this seminar is going to have the opportunity to take advantage of. Thanks, Bill, for the question. Another question comes in from David Barry. Does a CHAOS car have a considerably longer service life on pistons, rods, cranks compared to a big show or fuel car? Is an 8 mile easier on parts on nitro?
Yeah, the 8th mile is definitely easier, especially on nitro. You don't have that back half of stuff goes wrong there. So any combination, whether it's alcohol or nitro, it's easier on parts to run the 8th mile. From there, it just really depends on the team, the tuner, and how hard they're trying to push it, and what they're trying to do, and kind of dictates how hard or easy it's going to be on parts.
All right. The comparison has been made on of CHAOS to some of the early days, the early funny car racing, and where you had two guys with a ramp truck, and they would run sometimes 3, 4, 5 times a week. And if you're going to do that, you can't blow the car up every time you go down the racetrack. And so we have a lot of race teams that, if they wanted to blow it up all the time, they could probably have enough to keep going. But for the most part, we've got a working man series here, and you want to take care of your equipment in order to be able to make the next show, in 2 weeks or a month, whenever the next race happens to be. And so it becomes more incumbent on the teams to know as much as they can to make their equipment last throughout the season, because even though the season, is only 8 races, and you get to drop one of those, you have to be able to finish in order to win the championship, don't you?
Absolutely, and kind of touch base on tuning being problem solving, and another thing that the good tuners are able to do. Another thing, if you break it down simplistically, good tuners, we find the edge. Tuners, your job is to go find the edge, and you have to know where that edge is, know what the edge is, and where that edge is, and be able to, depending upon your budget and how you're going to run the car, is how close you get to that edge. And so whether it's track conditions and how much wheel speed edge, or knowing the edge of your engine components, the fuel system of, okay, how lean can I go, and where is the edge? Where is this thing going to blow up at? Knowing where that edge is. Same with timing, compression, and all that. So no matter where you are on the spectrum of whether you're a A-field 360, 350, nitro 340 type of car, or you're a B or C field guy that's just, trying to show up, stay within your, boundaries of what you can do. If through this show, if we can help, or the CAT seminar, if we can help teach you some things that help you quantify where that edge is, that helps everybody. Whether, no matter what your budget is, if you need to stay further away from that edge to make your parts live longer, we're going to try to help teach you some things to be able to do that. And I mean, it's one of the main names of the game when it comes to tuning and running a race car, is knowing what the edge is, where it is, and, keeping yourself, wherever you need to be from that edge.
Very good information and very good points. So we are looking at just over 3 weeks. I got 3 weeks and 2 days, because this is coming up on January the 19th and the 20th at the Champions Club there at the fabled Texas Motorplex. It's certainly fun to come to the Motorplex just to be there on that hallowed ground. But with the seminar that's going to be taking place, it can open doors. It can open windows of opportunity for our racing teams to be able to put their best foot forward. Not that they don't already, but that extra little bit of edge that can help them go just that little bit further that they're wanting to go this year, and be able to up their game. What else can you tell our prospective attendees for the CATS seminar. It's just before we get ready to go off the air about why to be there.
Not only the tuning side, the procedure side, we're going to go over some safety things that everybody needs to be aware of, whether or not make sure everybody's up to speed on some safety things, some things that I see that some funny car teams may or may not be doing. We need to take a look at that. Just basically just go over the race car. Friday's going to be all about procedure, back in the pit to actually getting to the starting line, procedures on the racetrack. Hopefully the weather cooperates and we're going to be able to get out there and go over reading the track. I mean, it could be Texas, it could be raining or snowing, or it could be 95 degrees, who knows. But hopefully weather cooperates and we're able to get out there and take a little bit of look at the track and be able to have some in-person, be everybody kind of look at that and look at some things and get everybody where they can kind of look at what I'm talking about, ask questions. That's one thing I think will be good for people on Friday. And then Saturday, again, we're just going to try to work through the whole race car. We're going to talk about chassis things to look at and talking about, weights and, moving things around and, how that affects how the car bites and conditions, and tie that all into tuning and your power management, fuel systems and engines, and just try to squeeze as much as we can and answer as many questions as we can and try to share that knowledge base. And I think something else that's going to be good about it being in person and having I think we're going to have close to 100 people by the time we get to that deal, is having that knowledge base. And I mean, there's some good racers that are going to be in the audience, really smart racers, probably some that are smarter than me, but I think there's going to be some really good information shed out of the questions and answers.
Well, that's one of the things that is a big part of this, is the brain trust, if you will. There's going to be centuries worth with 100 folks coming to the seminar. You take all those years of experience and add it together. That's going to be a lot of experience. And yes, the teacher of the seminar has got some great information, but the best teachers know that there's other additional information out there, and it's always an ongoing learning process. And so some of the best things, the ideas that come from the seminar during class time, so to speak, guess what? After class, over an iced tea or over dinner, might be some of those ideas that get shared and expanded upon. And some of that may be, just as good as the information that comes there, but you won't get it if you're not there. And so sign up for the CATS seminar. That's at thefunnycarchaos.com/CATS-seminar. And you can go there and get yourself signed up if you haven't already been there. Will, man, this has been great to have you on here tonight to make the information available to everyone that could be coming to this. And we're anticipating a full house and a great time. You can see, folks, the Crew and Tuning Seminar, January 19th, 20, Texas Motorplex Champions Club. Get yourself signed up while there's still an opportunity for you to do so. And Will, any closing thoughts?
I appreciate y'all having me on, and I'm really looking forward to it. And got to give an attaboy to Chris Graves for helping me put this thing together and put together. I think it's going to be fun. And Tara Graves, I hope you're getting ready for the banquet, because I'm going to spank you on that practice tree.
All right, the gauntlet has been thrown down. All right, so we've got Will Hanna. He's been here tonight, and we appreciate you being here for answering the questions, and we look forward to the seminar coming up. We're going to go to one more break, and we will be right back to close out the show here on Chaos Live.
At McKinney Corp, we do far more than just fuel funny cars and top fuel dragsters in the world of drag racing. For example, Jerry Biggle race cars, we provide them with the tanks on those race cars, and with this beautiful Larry's Jeffers race car machine, we in fact manufacture at McKinney Corp the button latch on the door car, and you can find many door cars with that latch. It's a private label that we create for Larry's and others, but you have McKinney Corp producing parts and pieces from tanks to button latches for the door car scene. Let's check out some more McKinney Corp assets and products here at PRI. Ron Capps debuted this beautiful funny car at the U.S. Nationals in 2023, bringing the old school with the new school Dom the Snake Prudhomme tribute car, and he was able to go on and win the U.S. Nationals in 2023 with this great throwback scheme. But McKinney Corp, though did not build this chassis in particular, did build the fuel tanks that Ron Capps runs in his funny car. One of the best fuel tanks in the industry, and beyond in the fuel ranks, you will find our fuel tanks in many other rides, such as even Antron Brown's top fueler. We're not done with what McKinney Corp does in drag racing. Let's continue at PRI. It's always cool to see Dale Worsham hit the track, and he hit the track at In-N-Out Burger Pomona Drag Strip in this beautiful CP Carrillo funny car. This very body was mounted at McKinney Corp headquarters in Lafayette, Indiana. In fact, we have a dedicated jig at our facility to mounting funny car bodies. So if it's a new body, old body, we can help you in mounting your funny car body to get funny car racing. Beyond Dale Worsham and Alexis Joria, Tim Wilkerson, Chad Green, we build their chassis, we mount their bodies, we assist them in their funny car operations and beyond, even into the alcohol ranks. As we like to say at McKinney Corp, they drive the drags. If you need anything for your drag racing operation and beyond, contact McKinney Corp.
Absolutely do that. As we have, Lee, we have got the involvement of some of the very best names in the sport that are an integral part of Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos, as evidenced by that great piece you did there about McKinney Corp.
We certainly do, David, have some big names. CP Carrillo, they are sponsors of Chaos, and they're run by some of the biggest names in the sport, not just in the sport of drag racing, but beyond. So you have CP Carrillo involved, McKinney Corp is involved, and also there's other brands that are involved that frankly should be considered top brands, and maybe they're growing to be top brands, but they're already participating in Chaos. We had Marvin Rodak on. I mean, you talk about some of the best premier coffee out there, period, that you can get for your home and office. So spectacular brands associated with Chaos.
Yeah, we really do. Now, Will Hanna really delivered tonight with some great information, taking questions from the audience, and the lead up to the CATS training, the crew and tuning seminar that's coming up at the Texas Motorplex. I'm anticipating that being one really great couple of days with like we were saying, the brain trust that's going to be there with with the crews and the drivers and the tuners that are coming in to be a part of that. That's going to be good. It won't just be Chaos people, because it's opened up. It's opened up to anybody that would like to participate and learn from some of the best in the business. And certainly Will Hanna is among the best in the business. So this will be a really good time to have people sign up and come into the Texas Motorplex. So thrilled to be able to offer this to the racing community at large.
It is certainly a needed event, and it is a cool event that is going to be held. And I certainly hope that there are more there than just the Chaos people. I know plenty of Chaos people are going to be there, but I hope it does reach out further, and that this is just Chaos adding that much more into the drag racing world, because I think it's going to be a spectacular event, and I certainly believe there's going to be many more after this, and it's going to continue to grow and continue to impact drag racing.
That's right. Well, Lee, I hope that you and yours had a great time at Christmas. I hope that all of our viewers out there in Chaos Nation had a great time at Christmas, and we're anticipating New Year's just a few days ahead. And 2024 going to be the best year I think any of us may have ever had when it comes to drag racing, and we're certainly going to do our part to make sure it happens that way for all the folks in Nitro Chaos and Funny Car Chaos land. Thanks to all of you for tuning in for tonight's show. It's always a pleasure to see you out there and to hear from you. And keep up with us on Facebook at All Things Chaos and on our YouTube channel as well. Be sure to like and subscribe to those channels. And we're going to be announcing another Chaos Live coming up in January. So we will be letting you know what's next on our agenda. But wherever you are and whatever you're doing, we're thinking about you. We appreciate you. And we look forward to the next time that we get to spend some time with you. For Lee Craft, I'm David Rattan, and we will look forward to seeing you on our next episode of Chaos Live. Good night, everybody.
If you can race it, chances are we make a piston or connecting rod for it. We have about 4,000 to 5,000 different part numbers on the shelf for connecting rods and pistons. So about half of what we sell comes right off the shelf, and the other half is custom-made parts. I am a firm believer in distribution and everybody getting their cut, doing their job, and getting rewarded for it. So we'll see how that goes in the future.